Well, the non-farm payroll report is out, and President Trump was right. It was a big one. I had a feeling on Wednesday when he was on TV saying, "Oh, you better watch for the jobs report on Friday. We got a big one coming up." That it must have been, of course, something that he would deem to be positive, since the president never talks about the non-farm payroll report unless it's a good one. It's kind of funny. The president's not supposed to tell people what the non-farm payroll report says before it's officially published, but I guess, he's not going to get in trouble for that or anything, and it's not that big a deal. I mean, I think those sorts of formalities are dumb. But the meat and potatoes of the issue is that the non-farm payrolls added 1.8 million jobs in the month of July, which of course is very different from the ADP number. The ADP survey only found 160 some thousand, but of course the ADP number is only private payrolls. You have to keep that in mind. Non-farm payrolls includes government, of which government was a massive portion of the of this number, but it was certainly not all of it. The ADP number that I talked about a couple days ago is still very far off. And so as of now, the official unemployment rate is only about 10.2%. Although the Bureau of Labor Statistics is reporting again for another month that their survey methodology is off, and that a lot of people who should be counted as unemployed are counted as employed. And they've been telling us this for, I think the last 3 months in a row. This month, and June, and then May. And so that's why I said before, unemployment peaked at like 14.7% officially. But the number should have been much higher than that, and right now the number should be higher than 10.2%. The BLS is saying about 1%, but I don't know how much I trust the BLS. The unemployment rate is already kind of fudged because they've changed the methodology over the years, and now the BLS themselves are saying that it's fudged, to a certain extent. So how much really is what's the real unemployment rate? Of course, I guess we have shadow stats for that. But, based on these official numbers, we've recovered about 43% of the jobs that were lost as a result of the lockdowns. And when you consider that that is, with the Paycheck Protection Program and the CARES Act and all this stuff, that's not very that doesn't seem like a very good achievement. I mean, you would think that the goal of the measures that the government had taken before was to prevent people from being laid off, so that unemployment officially did not go up that much, but of course it did. And those people who've been unemployed are supposed to be greatly compensated with that $600 a month thing, which is still up in the air because there hasn't been a deal made on that. But to think we've gone this long and only 43% of the people are back to work now. The average wage in America again declined, meaning that the lion's share of these jobs that are coming back are low wage jobs, which I guess means at least that poor people are able to get back to work. But pretty much everybody in America, because of the debt structure of our society, nobody really can do well being unemployed. Nobody has savings. Whether you're super poor or relatively well off, you've got a lot of monthly payments probably. That's just the way that America is, and that is, of course, because of our financial system and the social engineering essentially through the financial system that's occurred over the past many decades. Now, apparently, the BLS is counting a lot of these people who are unemployed right now as temporarily unemployed, meaning that they believe that these jobs will come back. But of course, the longer that these people are laid off, the more likely that those temporary job losses become permanent job losses, because the company either learns to live with with fewer employees, or the companies go out of business altogether because they just weren't able to endure this long period of not being able to operate. And so we would expect that the 9.5 million or so people who are currently counted as temporarily unemployed, a lot of those will become permanently unemployed eventually. And because of the low growth prospects for the United States moving forward, those people aren't going to have much of an opportunity to get new jobs anytime soon, and certainly there won't be, jobs that paid as well as the ones they had before. They're going to have to settle for probably, much lower wages if they do want to get a job moving forward. And as of this recording, the stock market doesn't seem too happy about this either, even though this is a better than expected number, much better than expected. I think the expectations range somewhere from like 1.3 to 1.5 million jobs added, and this is 1.8, so I mean that's a solid beat. And yet we're not seeing much enthusiasm from the markets. Bond yields are still, hovering around record lows. I mean, so you would think that there would be, somewhat of a risk on, from after this kind of this kind of good news. People should be moving out of bonds and into stocks. I mean, that's what common sense would tell you. But considering that the stock market, pretty much has continued to go up throughout all the bad news and never took a break, and the market cap to GDP has, shot to new all-time highs of 175% or so, perhaps the market is just too tired. And, even on good news like this, where, in theory, what it should tell us is, okay, well, this is a risk-on scenario. You have a beat in the jobs number. That means the growth of the economy is better than expected. That means you want to own these companies that would take advantage of that economic growth or recovery. But yet, these markets are already priced as if there is no depression, as if everything is perfect, as if there's an incredibly bright future. That these numbers are not they're not positive enough. So it really does make me wonder about how sustainable all of this is. I guess the only thing that makes the stock market go up now is, news directly from the Fed. If the Fed announces that they're going to buy more assets, well, then that'll probably make the stock market go up, because that's the only reason the market's been going up anyway. And considering that these are all the people who, have lost jobs, and or getting all this unemployment we're seeing is with the PPP loans and stuff like that, I wonder how many companies, and just to give you a hint, I think it's probably a lot, how many companies, once the crisis is supposedly averted and the PPP loans go away, the Paycheck Protection Program comes to an end, how many of these companies are going to have their mass layoffs? And so how much more unemployment are we essentially backloading into this crisis? Once we think that everything's fine and think we can get back to normal, then you have a collapse of all these other zombie corporations that were being propped up by the government programs. I don't think that the unemployment picture, based off of just this one NFP report, is enough to I don't have an optimistic outlook in the in the medium term. And of course I've been pessimistic for a long time, but I think it's with good reason. You always have to be able to try and look one or two reports ahead. And considering just how hard it's been for the parties in Washington to come together on this $600 a month or $600 a week payment scheme, which is still unresolved, I wonder for how long the Paycheck Protection Program will really be in place. So with that said, if you gained anything of value out of this video, I'd appreciate you clicking that like button and sharing this video. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe, because I do upload every day and I'd hate to have you miss one. So I'll see you folks back here tomorrow.